and also your play-by-play for the Abby Canucks. You got it locked in the line change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, Canucks Nation? Welcome back to The Line Change. And hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome to The Line Change. 7 years. That is how long it took the Anaheim Ducks to go from the basement to a playoff threat. And right now, looking at this last place Canucks roster, the question isn't if we're in a rebuild, it's if we have the stomach to actually do it right. Today, we're breaking down the Ducks' blueprint, the draft picks, the veteran buffer zones, and the defensive stinginess that recently put up 5 goals against Vancouver on their own ice. Is this the future of the Canucks, or are we looking at another 5 years of failure? Let's get into the truth. Now, Iain McIntyre wrote a great piece about this, talking about the Anaheim Ducks and the Vancouver Canucks. And basically, he pretty much said that the Canucks could probably learn something from the Anaheim Ducks and the way that they rebuilt. So let's go ahead and check this out. This looks interesting. Obviously, a lot of Canucks fans are obviously, concerned about the rebuild. Some are excited, for this rebuild. And we all saw how the Anaheim Ducks did it. Granted, it took the Anaheim Ducks about 7 years to do it, but they did it through the draft. And they ended up drafting a whole lot of incredible young talent. We will actually go through the draft picks that the Anaheim Ducks did in the last 7 years. But first, let's check out this article, as I mentioned, written by Iain McIntyre of Sportsnet. And he says, wistful excitement in imagining the Vancouver Canucks as the next Anaheim Ducks is tempered by the time 7 years it has taken the Ducks to become what they are. They are finally a playoff team again, but not yet one ready to actually win anything. They have tremendous speed and are a riot to watch because the Ducks attack exuberantly in waves, often at the expense of their own defensive well-being. Tuesday, against the Canucks, the Ducks surrendered a couple of leads before surviving a late surge by Vancouver and winning 5-3 on Troy Terry's empty net clincher. It's a far better game for the Canucks than what they offered their home crowd Saturday against the St. Louis Blues, which was a 3-1 loss, and last Thursday against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which was a 6-2 loss. But was still Vancouver's third straight defeat at Rogers Arena, and its fifth in 7 games during a marathon homestand that ended up ending Thursday against the Kings with yet another loss. This time, they were shut out by the LA Kings. But the Ducks were also a lot more fun for the Canucks to play than St. Louis or Tampa or even LA for that matter, which each limited Vancouver to just 10 shots through 2 periods. The Canucks' 30 shots on Tuesday, the Ducks had 34, equaled their second highest total in the last 18 games. I thought it was a better effort, Canuck winger Jake DeBrusk said after opening the scoring, but I still thought we gave away way too many grade A's, scoring chances, that is. I think they had 5 breakaways and a couple 2-on-1s in there, so it wasn't necessarily our best game by any means, but I definitely liked our effort and the pushback. The Ducks have obviously gone through a lot of growing pains, got a lot of younger guys, some older guys mixed in there. I like the way they play. I think they play hard. Obviously, they're known as a run-and-gun team because they can score goals, but I like the speed. I think that's the biggest part of their game. They probably want to clean up some things defensively, but they're leading our division right now for a reason, and I think it's because they're starting to learn how to play a little tighter. Asked Tuesday morning what lessons the Canucks could take for their rebuild from the Ducks, Vancouver coach Adam Foote hesitated long enough for the Buffalo Sabres and Detroit Red Wings to actually make the playoffs. Foote could have said, miss the playoffs for 7 straight seasons and be so bad during a 4-year period that you draft 3 times in the top 3. Instead, after measuring his answer, Foote talked about surrounding good young players with some careful, chosen veterans who give the prospect space, but he also noted, as many do not, that the Ducks are still a work in progress and need to learn not to play run and gun each game. The Ducks at least have more or less shown progress in a rebuild whose foundation is drafted core players Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Beckett Sennecke, Jackson Lacombe, and Lucas Dostal, and acquired in-trade sniper Cutter Gauthier. Still, after 9 straight losses, the Ducks were not so mighty, 21-21-3 on January 10th, when coach Joel Quenneville convinced them to start defending better. They are 19-6-1 since then and have allowed 3 or fewer goals in 18 of those games. A few times when they've been porous, the Ducks' speed and talent have allowed them to outscore their deficiencies. They've also buoyed by an 8-0-1 record in overtime and shootouts the last 2 months. For what it's worth, Anaheim hasn't lost any of its 8 shootouts this season. Whether this makes them a playoff threat is doubtful, but right now they're definitely a playoff team. Not only are they winning the Pacific Division pillow fight, they've built a 10-point cushion in the wild card race, so they'll be returning to the Stanley Cup tournament for the first time since 2018. I think the one thing we said was, hey, listen, we've got to look at this differently. Quenneville said Tuesday of the Ducks' midwinter turning point. We've got to play games where we've got to be more stingy. It's not about making plays every single time we're out there expecting a score. We've got to play games that are going to be tight the whole way and build off of checking. And, different guys were stepping up, scoring some big goals and some timely goals, but it wasn't pretty. Basically doing everything we could to win that game and play the right way. The Canucks will miss the playoffs for the second straight season and the 9th time in 11 years. Will it be 5 more seasons before the Canucks see a playoff game? Well, if it is, few of the players and none of the staff who are with the Canucks now will be around to see it. No wonder the players, especially veterans like DeBrusk, who know what may lie ahead, are trying to stay focused on the present, trying to be better next game than they were this game. I grew up in Edmonton, DeBrusk said. Trust me, I know first overall pick after first overall pick doesn't mean success. It doesn't. You need a lot of things to go right in this league. You need a lot of good veterans and a lot of good luck. You need health. But you're right, it's taken Anaheim a long time. And I think if you look at a rebuild in general, the position we're in. We're just looking for any improvements. Competing every night is pretty much our jobs as players. That's all we can control. DeBrusk, Besser, and O'Connor scored for the Canucks in that game against Anaheim. A pair of power play assists by Elias Pettersson gave him 500 points in 533 games with Vancouver. Mikael Granlund scored twice for the Ducks, while John Carlson and Leo Carlson combined for 5 assists. Besides being the faster team, the Ducks are also on average 12 pounds heavier than the Canucks and out-hit them 21-13. I just like the way we stuck with it and we pushed real hard. Foote said they will need to continue that for a while. So there's the article. Again, great piece from Iain McIntyre. But let's dive more into the draft picks and the young talent that this Anaheim Ducks team has. Let's share this tab instead. Bring this up. So we have here the draft picks by year. We'll start with 2025, so the most recent, and work our way down. So for the Anaheim Ducks, obviously they picked in the first round at number 10, Roger McQueen. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with the Anaheim Ducks, but on that note, obviously McQueen is one heck of a player, and I'm just quickly looking to see if he is actually suited up for the Anaheim Ducks this season. Let me check here. So yeah. Okay, so McQueen has not played a game due to an injury, so he has not made his debut for the Anaheim Ducks yet, but I assume perhaps maybe next season we'll see Roger McQueen finally make his NHL debut. But as I said, he was drafted 10th overall in the first round this past year in 2025. Of course, you have Eric Nielsen, obviously not as well known of a name as Roger McQueen. Same thing with the rest of this list. These are all other, from, further rounds, 2 in the second round. But that's the thing, too, with the Ducks. They had that pick with Roger McQueen in that first round. They got 2 picks in the second round, pick in the third, picking 2 picks in the fourth, 2 picks in the fifth, a 6th round pick, and a 7th round pick. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 picks in last year's draft alone. So they got 11 talented players in that year's draft, or both talented and young players, I should say. Taking a look back at 2024, they obviously drafted Beckett Sennecke, 3rd overall. He's absolutely been lights out for the Anaheim Ducks this season. Could potentially put his name in the running for the Calder Cup, not the Calder Cup, the Calder Trophy. Obviously, although I do think Matthew Schaefer is kind of running away with it, but he is putting himself in the conversation for that with 55 points in 72 games. 21 goals, 34 assists as well. And that is, again, his rookie season. Obviously, the Ducks ended up drafting twice in the first round, so 3rd, and then they drafted 20 spots later. They drafted Stian Solberg, who's a defenseman. They drafted in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 3 times in the 3rd round in the 2024 draft. They drafted player in the 4th round, 6th round, and 7th round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 picks in the 2024 draft. Are you starting to see a bit of a pattern here? They have a lot of picks. They acquired a lot of picks over those 7 years, and they replenished their farm through the draft, which is something that the Canucks are hoping to do, obviously, this year, because, the Canucks have, obviously, 10 picks in this upcoming draft alone. Taking a look back at 2023, obviously, Leo Carlson went 2nd in this one. They had some of these. I know Damian Clara, who's a goaltender, Italian goaltender. Obviously, the big name out of this one is, of course, Leo Carlson. But again, pick in the 1st round, 3 picks in the 2nd round, 2 picks in the 3rd, a pick in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're only missing a 7th round pick in this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, another 9 picks in the 2023 draft for the Anaheim Ducks. So once again, they are replenishing their farm system with all these by acquiring all these draft picks. Move down to 2022. You have Pavel Mintyukov. Apologies if I mispronounced his name. He was obviously drafted 10th overall. And of course, in this one, they also had 2 picks in the 1st round. They drafted Nathan Gauthier. Apologies again if I mispronounced his name. So they drafted twice in the 1st round, twice in the 2nd, in the 4th, 5th, or I should say twice in the 5th, and in the 6th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 picks in the 2022 NHL draft. Move down to 2021. Obviously, they pick Mason McTavish, 3rd overall. So another 3rd overall pick. So if you look at this, go from 2021, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the span of 4 years, the Anaheim Ducks drafted in the top 3 once, 2, 3 times in the last 4 years. The Anaheim Ducks have picked in the top 3. And that is how you replenish your farm system and, rebuild your team. So as we mentioned, Mason McTavish drafted 3rd overall. You have Olin Zellweger, who's drafted in the 2nd round. Some of these obviously perhaps did not pan out or have not yet made their debut. Obviously, you can see they haven't made their debuts. But as you can see with Mason McTavish, drafted 3rd overall in 2021, 5 seasons. What is that? 294 games played with the Ducks, 174 points, 74 goals, 100 assists. Then you have Zellweger, 3 seasons, 158 games, 49 points. Move down to 2020, and the Ducks end up drafting in the 1st round Jamie Drysdale, who they actually ended up trading away. They also drafted Jacob Perreault, Sam Colangelo. And obviously, the rest of this list have apparently not panned out or have not made their debuts yet. As you can see here, Jamie Drysdale, 6 years, 285 games, 98 points. Perreault has only played 1 game in the NHL. Colangelo has only played 3, but 14 points in 3 games. And then you have Ian Moore, has played 2 seasons, 13 points in 60 games. And then you move down to 2019, which is the 7-year mark for the Anaheim Ducks. Obviously, they drafted Trevor Zegras, 9th overall in that draft. And of course, Zegras has played 6 seasons in the NHL, 339 games, 243 points, 89 goals, 154 assists. Obviously, Zegras now a member of the Philadelphia Flyers, having been traded. But then you also have, Braden Tracy, who only played 1 game, Jackson Lacombe, or I should say 1 season, not 1 game. Same thing with Pro, that's 1 season. You have Jackson Lacombe, 220 games played, 110 points, 25 goals, 85 assists. You have Henry Thrun, who the Ducks got having played 4 seasons, 123 games, 25 points, 5 goals, 20 assists. And then even if you go past the 2019 season, the 7-year mark, they obviously drafted. Sorry, there's a fly. They drafted Lundstrom, Benoit Olivier Giroux. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Obviously, you see here Lucas Dostal, drafted in the 3rd round in this draft. And of course, again, they have multiple picks in the 3rd round in the 2018 draft. Dostal, obviously, having played 5 seasons, 170 games. You even go back down to 2017, Maxime Comtois. Again, I apologize if I mispronounce his name. 6 seasons, 211 games. And then this is where, obviously it was prior to their rebuild. They drafted Max Jones, Sam Steele, who's a regular NHLer. So is Jones, as so is Mahura. Go down to 2015. You have Troy Terry there in the 5th round, who's played 9 seasons, 337 points in 478 games. You even have Marcus Pettersson, current Vancouver Canuck, who's, of course, drafted by the Anaheim Ducks, has played 9 seasons, 176 points in 593 games. Brandon Montour, there's another one who's drafted by the Anaheim Ducks, 10 seasons, 324 points in 654 games. Andre Cassius, Shea Theodore, another big name there, drafted in the 1st round by the Anaheim Ducks. And you can really see a pattern once again with these later on drafts. They have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only 7 picks in this one. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. You can see the limited amount of picks that they're getting. Once we're getting to the late 20 or the early 2010s, I should say, less and less picks. Obviously, 2012 they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They of course drafted Hampus Lindholm in the 1st round in this one. Freddie Anderson as well, who has played 14 seasons, 547 games. You have Lindholm, 13 seasons, 335 points in 820 games. Ricard Raquel, John Gibson, William Carlson. Now you're starting to see a lot more names who have played, 14 years, 13 years, 12 years in the NHL. And again, you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks. You have Cam Fowler, Emerson Adam. See if there's anyone else. Cal Palmieri. Oh, now we're getting into the way territory now. But you guys get what I'm trying to get at with this. The Anaheim Ducks have managed to successfully, yes, it's still in progress with this season, but we know they're guaranteed to make the playoffs. But they did this through the draft and with lots of draft picks, replenishing their draft capital and getting all these young and talented players. So that is why we're saying in this video, Canucks should probably look at the Ducks as a blueprint for how they want to do their rebuild. Now, before anyone says anything, I'm not saying do a 7-year rebuild. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying see if you can try and take what Anaheim did and see if you can condense it into a 5-year time frame. See if you can do what the Ducks did in 7 years, but perhaps maybe in 5 instead of 7. Because I know Canuck fans, they're not interested in a 7-year rebuild. I know I'm not. But perhaps if they can follow this blueprint done by the Anaheim Ducks, and, with how the Ducks have been this season, you can say it's been successful with the way they've been able to, replenish their draft capital through the draft. As we mentioned, they have picked in the top 3 in the last 3 out of the last 4 years. So this is definitely the blueprint. And this doesn't have to just be the Canucks. This can be any team that is rebuilding. This is the perfect blueprint to follow if you want to rebuild. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree? Do you guys think the Anaheim Ducks have almost like the perfect blueprint when it comes to a rebuild and rebuilding your team through the draft? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And of course, as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the Line Change, and make sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss more in-depth analysis of your Vancouver Canucks. Let's take a look at the NHL betting odds for tomorrow. Of course, March 28th. Can't believe it's almost the end of March already. Let's bring this up. So let's go. Oh, you know what? Why don't we do the Ducks and the Oilers? We talked a lot about the Ducks in this video. The Ducks are a plus 1.5 and a minus 205 on the puck line. The Edmonton Oilers are a minus 1.5 and a plus 170 on the puck line. The Ducks are a plus 124 on the money line, and the Oilers are a minus 148 on the money line. Just a reminder, these odds are, of course, subject to change, and of course, please play responsibly. Now, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next Line Change.